Hi, I'm Gwen and welcome to my Gut Healthy Kitchen. Today, I'm going to take you on a little journey, which is a huge part of prioritizing eating healthy. For me, that involves figuring out how to make sweet treats a little less bad for you. So today we're going to try and make together, we're in this together, we're going to try and make a healthier version of the classic Eatmore bar. And we're gonna do it with really simple ingredients and we're gonna get right into it. But first we need a pot and then we're gonna get started. All right, we have a medium-sized pot. We have 3 or so cups of chopped nuts. I used 1.5 cups of almonds, 1 cup of walnuts, and 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds. Traditionally, I think it would be peanuts. This is gonna be much more nutrient dense and less inflammation causing. So use whatever nuts you have on hand, but that's what I'm going with. I'm also going to be using 1 cup of almond butter, and I'm gonna add this to my pot here, and then we're gonna go put it on the stove, which is a little bit different, but that's how we're doing it today. So 1 cup of almond butter. You could use, I'm sure, other nut or seed butter, but almond butter is my faves. I'm gonna use 1.5 cups of unsweetened chocolate chips because they're delicious, and we're gonna sweeten it with 1/2 cup of honey, which I'm actually gonna add at the very end, once these have all melted together. I'm also gonna add in 1/4 cup of coconut oil. My hope is that this will help it be a little bit chewy. That's my hope. Okay, the rest of it I'm gonna add the nuts and seeds at the very end as well. So let's put this on the stove and melt it all together. Okay, the goal is to make this chewy and delicious and with a hint of sweetness, but not overly sweet. So that's why I like to use unsweetened chocolate, because then I can kind of moderate how sweet it's gonna be. And the reason why I wanted to add the honey after I've melted everything together is I don't actually want this honey to get too hot. This is local, unpasteurized honey, and I want it to keep all of its magic. So we don't want it to get too hot, but we do need it to melt into here. So, sticky delight. We're gonna stir it in. I want to make sure it's really blended. I don't want sweet pockets. I want it to all be well mixed before I add the nuts and seeds. Okay, I'm gonna add the nuts and seeds. Hopefully this is gonna work out. It's kind of always a fun gamble. often when we start thinking about eating healthy or prioritizing gut health, we can think that that means we need to do everything perfectly and never again enjoy a sweet treat. And I just cannot live in that world. So I'm endlessly looking for ways to make yummy, sweet delights that are kind of good for you. Okay, this is pretty liquidy, but we're gonna add this to a parchment lined pan. I'm gonna be using an 8x8, which I'm gonna grab, and then we're gonna pop it in the fridge or the freezer. I'm thinking the freezer for like at least 30 minutes, but we'll find out. I think that you could also use a 9x13, but we're using what we got going on here. All right, I'm gonna pop this in the freezer and let it cool, and then we're gonna cut into it and see how it worked out. This is always the fun part. We'll see what happens. All right, this, I totally forgot what it was called. Eatmore, healthy Eatmore is ready to test out. A lot of times when you're experimenting with eating healthy, it is a lot about trying new things. It is the most important part of the process, being open to new flavors, new textures. And when it comes to eating sweets, it's really important to understand that as you back off of the sugars, your tastes will change. So let's see what happens when we cut into these. So because I put it in this parchment, it can just pop out super easily. Such a game changer. We're just gonna open this up. And I'm gonna try and slice it into chunks. It looks like an Eatmore bar. I mean, it's got Eatmore bar vibes. So let's have a taste. You can see that it's got all the little nutty goodness. Let's see. It's really good. Which is always the best. This is gonna be the perfect addition to family adventures, to that day where you have an afternoon cup of tea and want something a little bit sweet and decadent to go with it. These are gonna be a hit. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen and in this experiment with me. I hope you're feeling inspired to just give something new a try and see how it works out. I'm gonna chow this. And I'm gonna see you next time. You gotta try it.